have a hard time changing. We live in a culture where people have more opportunities vocationally than they used to. People that are male and female are able to choose more freely, but even now, folks want to restrict those boxes. Once again, the Southern Baptist Convention at their annual meeting voted again to make sure that women are not allowed to be pastors, and that churches who have women as pastors are not allowed to be a part of the Southern Baptist Convention. Our church made that decision 3 years ago and said if that was the way the Southern Baptist Convention was going to go, we were not going to be a part of it, and so we're not. Because we value women pastors. We value believing that anyone can be called to do what God calls them to do. But then there's also things like Doug Wilson, the pastor in Moscow, Idaho. He has shared a particularly interesting brand of Christianity, a brand of Christianity that wants a nation where now women are no longer allowed to vote. He shared this even in Pentagon Chapel services, that women are no longer allowed to vote. Instead, it'd be a household vote, which if the woman is the head of household, she would get to vote, but otherwise, the head of the household would get to vote. Trying to put people back into boxes that were not God's boxes to begin with. Because God has called us to be who we are. Called to be free. Called to find our vocation under the Holy Spirit, not because of boxes that we create. The point is, when we try to force people into roles, when they are called by God to other roles, we harm people and we wound our relationships with people. We end up favoring the children that follow the path that we value. We end up disconnecting with children that follow a path that makes us uncertain or squeamish. Favoritism leads to resentment and broken relationships, and that's exactly what Rebekah and Isaac are about to get. You may remember the story. One day, Esau is famished from hunting. He comes home after hunting and he is starving. He hadn't had a bite to eat in 3 stinking days, as the movie says. He is hungry. The only food ready to eat in the house is a perfectly prepared lentil stew that Jacob has been working on all day. Now, how many of you have eaten lentil stew? How many of you have eaten lentil stew? I've got to tell you, my wife, my daughter, my son, they make an incredible lentil stew. When you walk into the house, you smell it. It fills up the house. It's amazing. And let me just go ahead and be honest with you, I'm not really a lentil guy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, how many of y'all have just come home and said, I really want a good package of lentils today? Everybody? How many of you are saying, what is a lentil? Anybody? Okay, gotcha. All right, it's a little bean. Okay, there you go. We're good. Okay, so this stew's amazing. And when I've tasted it, I was like, lentil stew, and I tasted it, I'm like, man, this stuff is fantastic. I get why Esau smelled this and said, oh my gosh, this is heaven in a bowl. I got to have that. I get it. And also be aware, remember the rest of the pressure that he's under. Because there's no DoorDash, right? There's no Wawa. He can't call Domino's. He can't go to the 7-Eleven. There's not even a Walmart. Can you imagine? There's nowhere he can go to get a quick bite to eat. If he's going to cook something, he's going to have to take something he just killed. He's going to have to skin it. He's going to have to wait for it. He's going to have to get the fire built. He's going to have to get it going. And it may take half a day for him to get the food ready. He's starving and there's stew right there. Jacob, let me have a bowl of your stew. Jacob's like, sure, brother, sit down. Sit down. Here, let me set you a place at the table. Here, let me put the white napkin in your lap. Let me bring some stew over and a nice cup of water and some bread. Oh, by the way, it's only going to cost you your birthright. Wait a minute, what? All right, let's read this. 25, 29 through 34 in Genesis says, once when Jacob was cooking some stew, Esau came in from the open country famished. See, I told you. He said to Jacob, quick, give me some of that red stew. I'm famished. This is why he was also called Edom. Jacob replied, first sell me your birthright. Look, I'm about to die, Esau said. What good is a birthright to me? But Jacob said, swear to me first. So he swore an oath to him, selling his birthright to Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau some bread and some lentil stew. He ate and drank, and he got up and left. So Esau despised his birthright. What on earth is a birthright? How many of you have ever taught children Sunday school? Anybody? Anybody ever taught children Sunday school? I pity you. By the way, Sharon still needs some Sunday school teachers, so if you're not teaching, it's a great time. I pity you because whenever y'all got to this story and had to tell the children that Jacob asked Esau to sell his birthright, and you had to try and explain what a birthright was to children, I mean, really, I remember this story when I was a kid. I'm like, who cares? A birthright. That concept just doesn't really translate to us. So what a birthright was, Esau is being asked by Jacob to sell his place in the family. He's being asked to give up his leadership of the family unit as the firstborn and all of the privileges of the firstborn, which means the privileges of dividing up the wealth when his father dies. He is saying, switch places with me, brother, and I'll give you all the stew you want. It's a dumb deal. Jacob is no fool. He figures he's got nothing in life, and everything he's got is either going to come from the hand of Esau or out of his own wit. So he becomes a manipulative, deceptive scoundrel. The name Jacob means deceiver. It means supplanter, one who takes the position of another. See how this works? So Jacob throws out the hook and baits it at just the right time. And Esau, being the impulsive person he is, takes the bait. Yeah, sure, I don't need the birthright, whatever, give me the stew. Again, Jacob is no fool. Wait a minute. Swear it first. This is not a joke. This is for real. Swear it first means sign on the dotted line. This is an oral culture. They don't have written contracts. So swearing it is a legal moment where Esau legally gives to his brother the rights of the firstborn. Sometimes we hear the story told as Jacob tricking Esau out of his birthright, but there is deception, there is manipulation, but there's no trickery here. Esau knows exactly what's happening. He just doesn't say no. This is a dumb deal. This is trading 4 first-round draft picks for a bag of basketballs. This is not a good deal. But Esau can't resist the momentary pleasure of hot food that will cost him his future. Esau is not the last person to give up his future for a moment of satisfaction or a flash of passion, but he just can't resist. Acting and speaking on impulse rather than with careful, prayerful reflection have led to the estrangement of countless relationships in so many ways. Now, the other thought I have here is, what kind of person makes this kind of offer to their own brother? What kind of person is so manipulative that they're sitting here thinking of how to trick their family, how to ensnare their family for their own benefit all the time, to grow their own assets? Because that's how Jacob's thinking. And it gets worse. Later on, when Isaac is about to die, he's wanting to bless Esau, give his last word of blessing. The blessing in this culture was kind of, the last blessing was kind of a cross between a last word of exhortation, prophetic word about the future, and last will and testament. You kind of combine those all into an oral tradition, and that's what the blessing was. So it wasn't a blessing that you could just give multiple times. Rebekah hears that the time is coming when Isaac is going to give the blessing to Esau, so she grabs Jacob and says, hey, put some animal fur on your arms so you feel like Esau. Put on your brother's clothes so you smell like Esau, and take this food into your father so he'll give the blessing to you. Well, it turns out that Jacob's not the only deceiver in the family. This stuff came from somewhere, right? Like mother, like son in this case. Jacob goes in and he receives Esau's blessing. And after he leaves, Esau comes in to get the blessing and finds out that his brother has stole it. Jacob stole his brother's blessing, encouraged and enabled by his mother. And at this point, I have just one question for you. Is this family messed up or what? I've heard many people across my ministry, across my life, tell me that they want to have a biblical family. And I hope they didn't mean this one. These folks are a mess. Maybe they meant Moses' family. Oh, wait, they put a 3-month-old in a boat and shoved him off in the river. No, that's not good. Wait a minute. Maybe they meant David's family. Oh, Bathsheba. No, that's not a good family. Okay, that's not a good family model. How about Solomon's family? Oh, 700 wives, 300 concubines. That's probably not a good model. Folks, though the cultures are different, biblical families are like our families. Flawed, imperfect, filled with highs, wrestling with the reality of lows, struggling with intergenerational connections and how to make all of that work. These aren't super families. These folks are messed up. And in the middle of all of the mess, that's where we find God. In the middle of trying to make the generational connections work, in the middle of trying to make the connections work with our children's other married family and all these things that come around, God is in there trying to make it all come together somehow. Because every family is different. And every family is loved by God. And by the way, Esau is mad. He is ticked off. Genesis 27:35-36 says this. Isaac said, your brother came and deceitfully took your blessing. Esau said, isn't he rightly named Jacob? Remember, deceiver? This is the second time he has taken advantage of me. He took my birthright. Notice there's no mention of how Esau freely fell for that. And now he's taken my blessing. Then he asked Isaac, haven't you reserved any blessing for me? Father, isn't there anything left for me? And Esau receives a blessing from his father, but it is not the blessing. And the relationships in the family are fractured. Esau claims, a couple of verses later, Esau says, after my father dies, I'm going to kill Jacob. And Jacob is forced to flee. Rebekah tells Jacob to run, and then she tells Isaac, Jacob needs to go find a wife in another country from my family. And Jacob says, okay. He's deceiving Jacob about why. Deceiving Isaac about why Jacob is running. This family is messed up. And this is the family God is building our faith foundation on. If you ever wonder, golly, my family is so messed up, how can God do anything with this? Guess what? God did plenty with this family. God can use our families too. God can heal our families. God can do work in our families. So what do we do with all this? What do we do with all this? This episode 1 of A Family Nightmare. By the way, this is a safe place, okay? This is a safe place. So I'm going to ask a question that takes some courage to answer, and I'm going to ask you to raise your hand. It's a safe place. Nobody's going to judge anybody. How many of you watch soap operas? Anybody? Okay, very good. All right. Folks, this could be as Esau and Jacob's world turns.